Well, we have one person online or zero. Is that us? Oh, no. Oh, good. All right. Well, I guess we will start in this empty town hall. Okay. Well, welcome to our one person online to tonight's select board meeting today, Monday, September 25th. I'm Sabrina Dunlap. We have Ken Trom, Thomas Lampoma, and Stephen Whitley with us, and Jeff Donahoe is on the phone. So our first order of business will be to vote in Jeff. So I'll move that we allow Jeff to attend via phone. All right. So we do roll call votes tonight. So I'm a yes, Thomas.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
And Stephen.
Yes.
All right, Jeff, you're with us.
Thank you.
Okay, so first up is points of pride.
Sure. We were just talking about the fall festival, but the police association takes part in that. And from what they said, it went very well. If you've been through Riverway Park, the work there is going very well. The DPW has been working there and getting the lawn in and all of that. So by spring, it should be really nice. I wish Merle could see it because I can't tell you how many meetings she wanted that lawn fixed. So, and the recreation committee did their fundraiser, the murder mystery night on Saturday night, which to a full house. And it went very well attended, good food. They actually do all the food, the committee themselves. They hire a group that comes in that does the murder mystery. And it all seemed to go very well.
Nice. Ken?
Well, I had 4 things on my list and Neil hit the first 3 of them. But so I would just did all his comments there. And actually the 4th is again for Neil that want to thank him for stepping up and taking the minutes for the budget committee meetings. Again, hopefully we'll get somebody in future, but thank you.
I second that.
All right, thank you. So next we have administrative. First is approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move we approve the consent agenda of Monday, September 25, 2023.
I'll second.
Okay, let's roll call vote. I'm a yes, Thomas.
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Stephen.
Yes.
Jeff.
Yes.
All right. Next is approval of the public meeting minutes from September 11th, 2023. And I have one little change I would love to make. I just want to, for posterity, clarify on page 3 under old business B, community power, if we could just add a bullet that specifically mentions my concern, since I was the one no vote. Just say, Sabrina expressed concern about voting in favor of a contract that would bind the town before the issue had gone to voters at town meeting, something like that. Okay. Thank you. And if I could also add on the motion about Mark Zankel and Ken, if we could just note that I voted no on that, not because I don't support them, but because I voted no on the underlying agreement. All right, thank you. If everyone's okay with those clarifying points. Okay.
With that, with those adjustments, I'll move we approve the public meeting minutes of September 11, 2023.
Second.
All right, I'm a yes, Thomas.
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Stephen?
I'm gonna abstain because I had to leave a little early.
Okay, and Jeff?
Yes.
All right. Next, we have approval of non-public meeting minutes from September 11th, 2023, session 1, and these are not sealed. I don't think.
I'll move them.
Second.
All right, I'm a yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Stephen?
Abstain.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Okay, and finally, approval of non-public meeting minutes of September 11th, 2023, session 2, not sealed.
Yeah, we'll again move.
Second.
And I'm a yes, Thomas?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Stephen?
Abstain.
And Jeff?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you all. Okay, so first up, we have old business, town clerk, tax collector transition.
Sure. As we mentioned, the reception is on Thursday here from 3 to 5. You have the appointment papers to appoint Christine Johnson as the town clerk tax collector. We have 7 candidates for the deputy position and are starting to schedule interviews at the beginning of next week. And the auditors will be here on Friday. They come in and do what's called a recommitment, where they go through all the tax things and review them, and they'll come up. It's very similar to, you had the sewer warrant tonight, which was the commitment of that. It will be a form similar to that with everything that's outstanding, which will be recommitted to Christine. And I think that's this week.
Wow, okay, well, that's all good. It's nice. We have 7 applicants for deputy.
It is. It's great.
And the requirement is that the person has to live in town.
And yes, we advertised it that way, and all 7 candidates do live in town.
Nice, okay. All right, next under old business, we have the refuse disposal agreement and ordinance.
So mostly this is what you came up with at your last meeting, the joint meeting. And it also, last Monday, the Webster Select Board reviewed the agreement too.
They reviewed this one?
This one.
Okay, do they have the changes?
Yeah.
The red line,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah.
Great.
And did they have any other notes?
No, they're only, yes, no, they didn't have any.
Yep.
They had one comment, but then they reread it and it was good.
It looked good to me. Did anyone have any concerns?
I had one question, and it's on new paragraph 8, which is the one talking about new programs. And it refers to approval contingent upon both towns, and I didn't know if that was intended to mean respective annual meetings or contingent upon approval by, the respective governing bodies.
Yeah, I guess we should clarify. I was thinking governing bodies.
That's kind of what I assumed, but I wasn't here for all of the conversation, which is why
Is that what you remember?
That's
Yeah.
my recollection.
Okay, so maybe we can just clarify that.
because if the way I understand where we ended up is that if the both governing bodies, if the joint boards agree on it, then whatever costs are associated with these new programs get passed on to the budget committee and the town meetings to be voted upon.
Could we say, just add like, new programs that do not require town meeting vote, or just some little clarifying thing like,
Yeah, suppose you could have program changes that don't incur any additional cost.
well, except we can make changes that have a cost that don't require town meeting vote. Correct?
Can. What if
Mhm.
we do new programs or approve contingent upon approval of the joint select boards, which is
Mhm.
what we've used,
That's what we used
approving the
earlier.
program.
That makes sense, because if there was something that did require a town meeting vote, that is just a fact, and so this wouldn't affect issues that would have to go before town meeting. That's probably the simplest way to change that, so it's clearer. So with that edit, did Webster like vote on this, or did they just, do you know?
Don't think they officially voted,
Okay.
but I think they were kind of waiting
Okay,
for it to
okay, good.
come back here and then really, I guess the vote is to take it to town meeting. It's the,
Yeah, okay. So should we make a motion with that edit And assuming Webster is also supportive of these changes, that we take this to town meeting in 2024 for approval. Okay, I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Okay. I am a yes, Thomas,
Yes.
Ken.
Yes.
Stephen.
Yes.
And Jeff.
yes,
Okay, great. Thank you. Thanks for doing those edits, Neil.
Sure. And the ordinance, I think we'll just start working on updating to match the agreement, which can be adopted after. It won't be able to be adopted, some of it until after town meeting.
And would you at the same time be looking at the rates, the charges for some of the things that they should be updated?
Actually, we should probably do that between now and the end of the year. So that any updated rates could take effect sooner. Because the rates can change, the board can change I think. The specific rates aren't in the ordinance, they're adopted separately.
I think some are for some white goods.
Oh, some are, yep. That's right. They shouldn't be. The new ordinance shouldn't include the rates. Is my opinion.
Well, if it gives more flexibility, if it's not in the ordinance, that makes sense.
Right.
Okay.
Although I guess you need to have a public hearing to do either, but I think it's simpler if rates have their own schedule.
All right, are we good to go on to new business? So first up, we have the budget committee update.
Sure. Well, I already mentioned, thanking Neil for being the minute taker, and he also provided, let's say, a number of documents on what the role of the budget committee is, because that's something that we've gone back and forth with over past years. And this meeting, I thought, went very well in terms of it stuck to, what the proper role of the committee is at this point of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I thought, a very good meeting.
That's good. Any comments from you, Neil?
Only that also offered to the budget committee that NHMA does come in and do a workshop on what the budget committee role is. So if they wanted that to happen, we could make that happen. And I would think that would be a good time, if that were happening, to invite all the governing bodies, the select board, school board, and the precinct commissioners, because it's important for everybody to know what the roles are. They're going to discuss whether they want to do that at their next meeting.
I'm sorry to interrupt, guys. I'm only getting about every fifth word from Neil. Everybody else is coming in loud and clear.
Okay. He was just commenting that NHMA can come in to do a presentation to the budget committee about the role of town budget committees.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Ken, since I'm just now recalling last year, some confusion involving the school budget and sort of back and forth with the budget committee. Was there like discussion specifically about like order of operations and like, is that the kind of stuff you got into, or was it more like high level role of the budget committee?
I think it was just, for this meeting, it was basically what has the school board done, this year? What has the select board done this year? And where do we stand financially?
Mhm.
It's not getting into anything about, what budget committee wants to see for budgets. That's after, the next step would be the select board would present a budget to the budget committee, and then they would go from there on it.
Mhm.
They shouldn't be getting into it in advance of that, or
Mhm.
trying to, in effect, I'll use the word micromanage.
Mhm. Okay. All right, anything else on the budget? That season is upon us. It's hard to believe. Okay, so next up is the select board / school board joint meeting agenda, which will be Tuesday, October 10th at the middle high school.
And that is the next board meeting, and because Monday is Indigenous Peoples' Day that week.
Mhm. Um. For board goals, did we do that last year or did
They,
just the school?
they've added, the school board asked that that be on there. I'm not exactly sure what that is. I'm actually meeting with Mike Flynn Thursday, so we'll
Okay.
finalize this. But if you have any input on things you would like added,
And the meeting dates, do we know those?
I think they do. I don't think we do.
Wasn't there some question last year about like who went first in March?
I think they're planning to go the Saturday prior to the election, so we can't go that early anyways. So
That's March 2nd?
Then, yeah, is it the,
Wait,
Saturday, the 2nd.
the
and then-
second-
No, I
the
think,
second Tuesday is the 12th.
I think it's the 9th.
oh yeah, okay.
So
And
school meeting
so-
would be the 9th, and the conversation had happened here as to
Yeah.
when that would happen. So
Yeah,
Yeah, because we sort of
Did
put it
not
out to the
decide.
community about when,
whether
hold it.
1 week or 2
Right.
weeks after.
right,
or a different night.
or a different
Right.
night altogether, yeah.
The 2 Saturdays in a row seem to be one of the lesser
Part of people, yeah.
Mhm.
favored.
So we should definitely talk about that with them.
Yeah,
And then maybe at your next meeting, schedule Sarah Persino, the moderator, in to
Mhm.
have that discussion.
yeah, and I guess at that point, Christine too.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be great, so we can figure that out. All right, well, if anyone has anything to add to this, let Neil know. Like fiscal goals, is that their item or?
Yeah, I know they had a retreat and they talked about a lot of things, but I
Mhm.
don't really know what they talked about.
Mhm,
So this is just the list that came from them.
Okay,
You usually highlight cost drivers that we're going to be looking at.
Generally, yes.
It's like kind of fiscal goals,
Yeah,
spending.
and almost just cross off the word goals to say fiscal issues.
Sort of an update of what the philosophy is for that year and what's
Yeah.
coming up.
and I guess it might be nice to touch on, well, maybe an update on like the road bond, which is pretty quick, which is that. We
That
haven't
would
been able to-
fall under the fiscal.
Okay.
Fiscal.
And I guess if we're just doing like general updates, like an update on Houston Barn. Any other big,
If you want to talk about our accomplishments, Riverside Park.
yeah,
I mean, for fiscal planning purposes, I mean, we've talked previously about the road work, the sort of major road work projects and how we're gonna finance that going forward. And we haven't, made any decisions, but, that may be one of the big budget drivers this coming year and the next several years.
Well, that is, and as Neil mentioned at our last meeting, the lagoons at the transfer station.
Right,
And
right.
that- Whether that's
Yeah.
big enough, they don't, they should be apprised of that too. I mean, I mentioned it at the budget committee. But yeah, that's certainly gonna be a driver, whether it's next year or the year after.
Yeah.
An issue that regularly comes up is George Park, but I don't know if we want to raise it if they don't.
well, we do have a new fence.
We
this
do,
year.
that we jointly bought.
Does that child belong to anyone to come out?
That one's mine.
Okay.
Leave her locked out.
Just wandering around. Okay,
She's like
Um,
5 miles from home.
All right, so wait, is that our next, that's our next meeting?
That is the next
Yeah.
meeting,
Okay.
yes. So we'll meet at Maple Street School jointly, and then they'll have a space that we can go and,
Wait,
Where,
the high
Maple
school?
Street?
High school.
I think it's at Maple
They've been
Street.
meeting at Maple Street.
Oh, well, they have Hopkinton
Up.
Middle High School in here, but,
I didn't change
oh,
that.
okay, so Maple
I
Street.
used
A little
last
while.
year's.
Okay.
I'll confirm that.
Okay.
This week. We'll let you know in advance.
Okay.
It's Maple Street. I have to commute like Thomas normally has.
That's-
All right,
If we see Kathy in the window. we'll know she's not-
are we good to move on to the last two items or new business? Next, we have the perambulation request.
Sure. So we have a letter from Hennecker requesting perambulation. It is due. And when this was put out, I received word that Ted Wells would like to volunteer to, I heard through the grapevine, so I haven't confirmed with him, but I'm sure it's true, to be our perambulator. So
Oh,
if that's something the board agrees to, we'll coordinate, have him coordinate with Hennecker and perambulate the line. They are the town that we have kept the best up to date. We are, I think I sent the list, we are outdated. We had sent letters at one point to every abutting town and didn't hear back from most of them. So we have not done that recently.
Okay,
Just, that's kind of where, but at one point I was looking, we did send letters to every town trying to coordinate that.
I may try to do it along with Ted, just because I live right over there as well.
well, that'll be fun.
Yeah.
So do we need to nominate Ted to be our preambulator?
Yes.
Perambulator.
So moved.
Second, with maybe help from Stephen.
Mhm.
All right, I am a yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes,
Okay, thank you to Ted.
So we have official
been
perambulators.
voluntold
I
that-
don't think that's a real, I'm not sure even perambulation's a real word. It doesn't pop up in the dictionary.
Okay. Last thing under new business is the 2022 audit.
You have that in your packet. It came from the auditors. No surprises there. Nothing that you hadn't, no surprises at all that you hadn't really heard about before. The fund balance, the final number is within 10 or 15,000 of where we had estimated. So we're right on track. So.
And just for the record, Neil, the note related to other than pension benefit estimates. Forget what the letters are.
So we could. They do, because we don't go through the whole process of doing GASB, I'd have to look up the number too, that looks at all the pension liabilities, which a lot of towns don't do. It's pretty expensive. I think we had brought the plan before and I remember it being $8,000 to $10,000 a year. And the board made the decision that it wasn't worth it, but that's why that note is there. A lot of towns make that same decision. If we were bonding on our own, we probably would definitely want to do it, but where we don't. But I can certainly get more information if you want to look at that again.
No, I wasn't suggesting that we go down that route. I just, wanted it on the record as to what the note by the auditors, what the significance of it was.
Okay, anything else for the audit? All right. Next, we have town administrator updates.
Sure. I've been focused on budgets and CIP a lot. CIP, we have a new spreadsheet, which we'll be working on. Budgets are going in. I've also been spending time on the solar grant, meeting with the engineers, and it'll be good when our wastewater superintendent is in place and can take that all on. The barn is down on the foundation. I can't remember if it was last meeting. I don't think it was. It actually came down. It came down sooner. I want to say it came down more quickly. It came down the speed they wanted, but
Don't say down.
a week,
Scale
a week sooner than was expected. They're doing the work. It's a pretty big space under there. It's kind of amazing when we're under there. The water main is being put back in, really set up so for potential future use. And one corner won't have a floor. That would be where a heated room would go if a sprinkler system were put in someday. What else? And we're still watching. There is a potential, which I didn't think there would be, to actually do the metal roof. So that it's being watched. So within the next month or so, we should know better. It didn't seem to me like the numbers were running there, but Frank LeMay, who is the from Milestone, said there's still a possibility. So
What are they waiting on to see? where-
just to see where the final, there's still a little bit of ledge in there, and they're still putting everything back just to see where the budgets are coming in, but they've been running right on. So far, so good. We've already talked about Riverway Park. And work on the clearing for the Kearsarge Trail to connect to Houston Park will begin soon. We've sent letters to the abutters there, just letting them know that that's taking place and is going to happen. That will connect. We own a piece of property that connects Kearsarge to the railroad, the former railroad bed, which we now own, that connects to Houston Park. So that work will begin. And I think that is it.
Great, thank you. You have any questions, Ken?
No,
Okay,
I butted in with my questions.
good, okay. So next up, we have public forum. So for our one person online and our two people here physically, if anyone wants to make public comment, now is your chance. Okay. All right, and does anyone have anything for other? Okay. Wow. This is our fastest meeting in a long time. So we have one non-public, so we will go into non-public and then we will adjourn and not conduct any other business. So I will move that we go into non-public under RSA 91A32C.
Second.
All right, I'm a yes. Thomas?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Stephen?
Yes.
Jeff?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Kara.